Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm, who I'm not, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show is for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology news. I'm Mike Gorday. I usually sit on the other side. I'm in the Nathan seat today in the studio, who is out at a national security convention and forgot to give us stuff, so we're in a void of gray. I'm an award-winning author and human behavior expert, not really a technologist, but our co-host Mark Gregoire, who is sitting to my left, is a 30-year technology veteran, as well as our whiskey connoisseur, who is filling in today for me. Say hi, Mark.
Hi. I'm trying to be you there. Woohoo! I'm excited to be at the big person table today.
Okay. Woo-hoo. All right. It's really not that big of a deal. We live stream our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch, TV, X, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to visit us online at techtimeradio.com, become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/techtimeradio. We're a few friends from different backgrounds, but we try to bring the best technology show possible weekly for our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. We're glad to have Odie sitting at the producer control panel today. Welcome, everybody. Let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time without Nathan Mumm, we are unraveling the latest tech mysteries, dissecting the juiciest controversies, and serving up a side of digital intrigue. How do you like that?
Wow, we sound like...
We sound like somebody wrote something for us. I'm your host, Mike Gorday, and today's headlines are hotter than a GPU mining rig in July. That's definitely a Nathan. In a legal battle that could rival the most intense AI chess match, Elon Musk is suing OpenAI and its CEO Sam Altman, alleging a betrayal of the nonprofit's founding mission. Musk claims they have veered off course, prioritizing profits over humanity. This will clash of titans, redefine the future of artificial intelligence. Well, stay tuned. Remember the days when Twitter was just 140 characters and X marks the spot for innovation? Well, former Twitter executives are back with a vengeance, suing none other than Elon himself.
I have that story, and I'm excited on that one.
Yeah, you really like going after that one, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Move over lawnmower mods, which we talked about last week. The latest gaming sensation is GTA Vice City running on a humble TP-Link Wi-Fi router. Yes, you heard that right. Forget about loading screens. Now it's all back to buffering bars. We'll dive into the tech wizardry behind this mind-bending feat. Grab your emergency emojis because social media universe went dark. Facebook and Instagram suffered a global outage, leaving influencers without filters and grandmas without cat videos. Was it a server hiccup or a cosmic alignment? We'll explore the conspiracy theories and bring you the latest status update. In addition, we have our standard features today, including my mesmerizing moment, technology fail of the week, and, of course, our pick of the day whiskey tasting to see if our selected whiskey gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
Here are our top technology stories of the week.
Well, in something that looks like a domino soap opera, Elon Musk is now suing OpenAI and Sam Altman over the betrayal of nonprofit. Elon Musk, its co-founders, has sued OpenAI, its co-founders Sam Altman and Greg Brotman, and its affiliated entities, alleging that ChatGPT makers have breached their original contractual agreements by pursuing profits instead of the nonprofit's founding mission to develop AI that benefits humanity. Musk, a co-founder and early backer of OpenAI, claims Altman and Brockman convinced him to help found and bankroll the startup in 2015 with promises it would be a nonprofit focused on countering the competitive threat from Google. The founding agreement required OpenAI to make its technology freely available to the public. The lawsuit, which was filed in a court in San Francisco late on Thursday, says that OpenAI, the world's most valuable AI startup, has shifted to a for-profit model focused on commercializing its AGI research after partnering with Microsoft, the world's most valuable company, which has invested about $13 billion into the startup. In reality, however, OpenAI Inc. has been transformed into a closed-source de facto subsidiary of the largest technology company in the world, Microsoft. Under its new board is not just developing, but is actually refining an AGI to maximize profits for Microsoft rather than for the benefit of humanity, which is part of the lawsuit.
Now, Mike, this is just what Elon Musk is claiming. This isn't fact, right?
No, these are quotes from the lawsuit.
From the lawsuit. So this is just his delusional made up quotes.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Keep going. I think it's interesting that Musk is banging on the door of human rights.
Well, or even starting to talk about for-profit. I mean, what billionaire isn't in it for profits that you know of?
I don't know any. So
okay,
there you go.
I think most of them are in it for that.
I'm pretty sure that they're probably in it for the money.
And it's even funny. It's you just covered a story. I don't know how many months ago that was, where Sam Altman resigned because they wanted to move it for profit and to do this stuff, and he refused.
Yes, that is true. And then they called him back.
They called him back, and he fired all those.
He fired everybody
on the board.
And then he let Microsoft buy them.
Well, they didn't fully outright buy them. They're funding them.
Okay.
So, yes.
Well, the lawsuit follows Musk airing concerns about OpenAI's shift in priorities in the last year. According to the legal complaint, Musk donated over $44 million to the nonprofit between 2016 and September of 2020. For the first several years, he was the largest contributor to OpenAI. Musk, who left OpenAI's board in 2018, has been offered a stake in a for-profit arm of the startup, but has refused to accept it over a principled stand. Altman has also addressed some of Musk's concerns in the past, including the close ties with Microsoft, saying, "I like the dude. I think he's totally wrong about this stuff. He can sort of say whatever he wants, but I'm proud of what we're doing, and I think we're going to make a positive contribution to the world, and I try to stay above all that." So that's where we are. Sounds more like Elon might be a little jealous of somebody putting some money in the pie that he tried to bake.
Correct, that he was trying to do it. And he also announced previously, and you guys covered that on a past show, that he wants to bring some AI models to Twitter or to X now. And he wants to do that whole encompassing of everything. And he needs to slam the competitor now in order to then have a justification to promote his own for-profit business.
That could be. That sounds like a pretext.
Especially when X is losing so much money.
Well, that leads us right into story number 2.
Oh, let's go there. That's much fun.
That's what you wanted to talk about. I
did. I've been waiting for this. So story number 2. Man, what goes around comes around. As a former Twitter or X executives sue Elon Musk for $128 million in unpaid severance. So I don't know if you remember when he took over Twitter. It was Twitter at the time before he did the name change. And it's funny how every news outlet in us says Twitter/X because the name is so poorly done that we still have to remind everybody that it's really Twitter we're talking about.
Well, I think it's, easier when we go X to think of other things like ex-wives and ex-girlfriends and ex-employers. So I don't know.
Yeah. So they're suing him for unpaid severance. What happened was, if you remember when he took over, he fired a bunch of these executives.
Yeah.
And the reason in the lawsuit that they claim that says he is withholding their severance entitlement, and because they were fired the executives when he took over, that was in October 2022, because it was retaliatory. He did not want to pay severance, so he made up claims of why he was firing them, so he didn't have to pay the severance. And this is my favorite part. There's actually Musk has an authorized, we stress, biography in which the biographer quoted Elon Musk himself as saying he would, quote, hunt every single one of the former Twitter ex-executives till the day they die.
So what does that mean? He's going to hunt them down?
Well, it just means he's got a vendetta against them. He never wants to pay them, and he never, ever wants to give them any.
That's a funny choice. I'm going to hunt everybody down until they're dead.
Until the day they die. Yeah. Well, are we saying he thought that out?
I don't think that was very well thought out.
Yep. So since he didn't want to pay the severance, he just fired them without reason, and he made up fake causes and appointed employees of various companies to uphold his decision. So part of his hiring process was say, do you agree with what I'm going to be doing here?
Mm-hmm.
And they said yes, so he hired those. Unfortunately for the plaintiffs, Twitter X is unlikely to part with the money, of course, without a fight, because they have been reported their value has dropped over 70% since Musk's acquisition. So as he's attempting to build this new revenue stream, I don't think he's going to be looking to paying much out.
Well, while he's suing OpenAI to get $44 million back or whatever he's trying to ask for, OpenAI is suing the New York Times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have the Twitter ex-employees, suing Elon, and nobody can learn about it on Facebook or
and probably really the only ones that are going to make any money in the end.
Everybody makes money, right?
Just the lawyers usually.
Just the lawyers.
Just the lawyers on these.
Okay, well, story number 3 is going to take a different track. Forget doom on a lawnmower, which we talked about last week, or a toothbrush, which we talked about the week before. Check out Grand Theft Auto Vice City running on a TP-Link Wi-Fi router. Now, playing PCs on your Wi-Fi router, and we don't mean online gaming via your router, but actually using the router as a PC, is not something you likely thought possible, but it very much is, as a freshly aired project demonstrates. As highlighted by Tom's Hardware, a pair of enterprising hardware tinkerers based in Germany, known collectively as Kitten Labs, Manaworm and TSYS, known collectively as Kitten Worms or Kitten Labs, ran GTA Vice City on a TP-Link TL WDR4900 router. How on earth does that work? Well,
tell me, Mike. Tell me how that works.
Yeah. Well, technically, I don't know.
Okay.
So I have to read it from this piece of paper.
Okay.
Hang on. Well, routers have processors and have done that for a long time. And indeed, this TP-Link model is over a decade old, in fact. And with some enterprising hacking of the router is possible to do some limited PC gaming using this router's PowerPC-based CPU, with the tricky bit being supplying the GPU. Of course, you aren't about to fit a graphics card inside a router, but you can hook up an external GPU, which is exactly what was done with this project. And finally, after some tricky work on the software front, GTA was playing on the router. Nothing like running down people on the street and selling drugs for criminal gangs on your router. Thanks, Nathan. Appreciate that quote.
So, when you read this, what's the purpose of this? I mean, it's a lot of hoops that you have to go through to get this to run on a Wi-Fi router.
I think this is just an interesting little side story that says, hey, that old stuff that you got in your closet, you may be able to repurpose it for some stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'll pull out my Commodore 128 at some point and somebody can run GTA off of that.
Probably could.
I don't know. Well, that ends our top technology stories of the week. When we return, Laura Bell Main joins us again on the show. She is a global leader in developing secure software. With over 20 years of experience in software development and cybersecurity, she is the author of Security for Everyone. Her work has been featured in many international publications, including Wired and MIT Tech Review. You will not want to miss this interview. You're listening to Tech Time without Nathan Mumm. We will be back after this commercial break.
This is Mark.
And Greg.
For Copiers Northwest.
With a terrific offer
called Printer Care Plus.
It's simple. Buy HP printer cartridges from Copiers Northwest and we'll service your current printers for free.
That sounds too good to be true.
It's made possible due to our HP Copiers Northwest relationship.
Copiers Northwest is an HP Platinum partner.
One of only 2 in the entire Northwest.
And now with Printer Care Plus,
Copiers Northwest will provide free printer service.
As long as they purchase genuine HP cartridges from Copiers Northwest.
That's right. IT departments no longer have to service printers.
Or fix paper jams with Printer Care Plus.
They can focus on more strategic initiatives.
And let our experienced technicians keep their HP printers up and running.
Sounds like a love-love relationship for IT departments.
Don't get too carried away. So how do they get more details on Printer Care Plus?
Call Copiers Northwest today, 206-282-1200, or visit copiersnw.com.
Copiers Northwest. New ideas, new solutions.
Welcome back to Tech Time without Nathan Mumm. Our weekly show covers the weekly top technology subjects without any political agenda. We verify the facts, and we do it with a sense of humor in less than 60 minutes. And, of course, with our whiskey on the side. Mark, what are we tasting today?
Today we are tasting a bottle from your inventory.
Yes, this was the first gift I received after my apartment building burned down.
Yeah, so somebody gave you Kirkland Signature Blended Scotch Whiskey.
Yes.
Now, from Costco's website, because we all know the Kirkland brand is sold through Costco, there is nothing on it. Nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Now, Kara Newman, she reviews spirits for various publications. She said, look for mild peat smoke, cedar, and resin notes that lead into a spicy finish with a flourish of alcohol heat. A splash of water coaxes out more vanilla and honey.
Oh, we should have some vanilla. But this does qualify as a Scotch, right?
It does.
Okay.
So, as we mentioned, this is from Costco. The company actually is Alexander Murray and Company. Distillation is Unknown Distillery or Distilleries in Scotland. Since it's blended, we don't know if it's from multiple distillers. It's blended Scotch. It's not age stated, but it's suspected to be around 3 years old. It's 80 proof. The mash bill is unknown. Since it is a blend, we're not sure if it's 100% barley or not. And the price for a 1.75 liter, you got a big boy here.
Yeah, for $20.
Under $20, $19.49.
All right. And you don't drink Scotch. So
I do not.
You pretty much don't like it.
No, I'll talk about that in the mumble specifically.
Okay, well.
But I'm not going to say it's bad whiskey yet, because it's Scotch, and I don't have a flavor profile for Scotch.
Okay. Well, it's tasty, but it's a little thin so far.
Okay.
So,
all
right. Well, with our first whiskey tasting completed, let's move on to our feature segment. Today we have our technology insider, Laura Belmain, joining us. She is a global leader in developing secure software. She is an experienced keynote and conference speaker presenting at Black Hat USA, Render HTL, and leading international software development and cybersecurity conferences. Let's welcome Laura Belmain to the Comcast video stream to start our next segment.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
Well, hello, Laura.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm good. It's lovely to be back. Thanks for having me.
All right. So it looks like we have a few things in common. It says that you're an introvert that has spent 15 years pretending to be an extrovert.
Yeah, we're not supposed to tell anyone, but absolutely. Yeah, even just talking to you now, I'm going to need to go lie down in a quiet room for a while.
Yeah, I know. I had to take a nap before I got here.
I always have to do that after talking to Mike, too, but that's all right.
Oh, thanks. That's more of a thing you should direct towards Nathan, but, you know.
You're in the seat today.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's okay. It says here you love stories, games, and of course you're joining us from New Zealand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Nerd through and through, I'm afraid. No shame in that. And I've been gaming and in the tech space for a very long time.
All right. Well, great. Welcome back to the show. We enjoyed your last interview so much, we needed to have you back to talk about your book, Security for Everyone. The book focuses on practical, flexible, step-by-step, affordable approaches that can scale to suit your situation needs in language non-technical folks like me can understand. What made you decide to write this book?
So this was a bit of a passion project for myself and my business partner, Erica. We have both been helping organizations, big and small, all around the world for probably 2 decades now to secure what matters to them. And for most part, the only way people get that help is they fork out a lot of money, spend a lot of dollars, and get some consultancy, get some kind of expensive advice. So we wanted to break that cycle, and we wrote the manual, if you will. So it can take you from being an individual, just looking after yourself and your own accounts and your own technology, all the way through being various sizes and stages of business. So it's not for these enterprise folk. They've got their own teams, they've got their own solutions, but it's supposed to be and is the how-to guide for everyone else. And lots of practical things you can do. You don't need to spend any money on fancy tools. You don't need to hire a specific person with a skill set. You can walk through it from the beginning to the end and upgrade your security as you go.
Okay, well, that's good to hear, because as somebody now, I understand this from a technology point of view, that you sort of just take that as part of the deal, that you're going to have to deal with things like two-step verification and this and that. But somebody like me, I get so frustrated trying to remember what password goes where, how many times I have to look at my phone, how many times I'm going to have to access my phone to access the computer that is attached to my phone in order to open the website that needs that two-step verification, right? So this is going to make everything easier for me, right?
Well, I can't take away all of the challenges with some of the crummy systems that we've built, not my fault. But what it can do is at least explain what some of those things are doing and why they matter, and help you choose when you need to do it and when actually there are other things you can do instead. So it can't save all of your problems, but at least I can give you the reason why, and make it a bit easier to prioritize what you're doing.
Okay. Would this be the key takeaway from your book for all of us non-techies or partial techies?
I think the key takeaway is that you're never too small to get started with security, and security doesn't need to be a big, terrifying thing. It's not about building barricades and walls and, locking everything down. It's about doing little tiny changes to what you already do every day. And the more you do those tiny things, the more you forget that you're even doing them. They just become part of you, part of how you do things on the internet or on your devices. So hopefully it can take all of the scary stuff away, turn it into really practical things that you can do whatever size of budget or size of organization you're dealing with.
Now, Laura, you had talked about it's not built really for enterprise businesses because they have their own group of ITs and all that. So it's definitely for small businesses. Is it also for individuals, or is it focused just for small business?
Yeah, the entire first section is for individuals. So we take you from protecting yourself, then protecting yourself and your family and friends, which I know a lot of us who, have tech inclination, that's what we do. We help out our friends and family. And then it goes into business. So wherever you are, you can start at the very beginning and build up from there.
Excellent.
All right. Well, Laura, since technology is always on the move, we have people all the time on the show telling us what is bad about technology, which I'm one of them. But what is something that you enjoy about technology?
I'm going to share a story from my world. So I look after an 82-year-old. She lives with us. She's losing her eyesight. She's got a lot of medical things, like most of the elderly in our lives. And what I love about technology is she can't travel anymore. It's just not a thing for her. So things like virtual reality experiences are being rolled out in care homes around the world in limited trials that allow our elderly who can't get out and see the world and continue to make new memories to experience things like international travel or concerts or events. And I think that's pretty cool. Like I turned 40 last week, so I'm feeling that midlife kind of thing happening. But I like the idea that even when I'm older and when I'm not able to physically go out and explore the world as much, that technology is making sure the world is small enough that we can all enjoy it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I took a virtual tour of Queen Nefertari's tomb the other day, and it was incredible. So technology can serve us in many different ways that are awesome. Most of my problems come from how human beings interact with technology, but there are a lot of good things about it
we
too.
We can't solve that bit. We're jerks. We love each other dearly, but we're all rubbish. So, oh well. We'll distract ourselves and look at the Egyptian pyramids instead. That sounds more fun.
Okay, yeah, we might want to talk about how we're all rubbish. I like that idea. Okay, well, did you have any other questions?
Well, this is your second book, correct?
It is, yes. The one I vowed I would never write, because when you write your first book, you always promise you'd never, ever do something so silly again.
So that was my question. Why did you do it? I know you kind of talked about you want to protect, but do you already have the...
You can't stop. After you write the first one, you can't stop.
Well, do you have a third one in mind now?
I do. I'm having some early conversations at the moment. And it's a funny thing. Books underneath it all there's ego. You can't deny it. Even if you say you don't have an ego, there's something quite nice about putting your view of the world out there. But the other side for me is I get really frustrated when information is really hard to find, or things are expensive, or things are just unnecessarily complicated. So everything I end up writing tends to be because I've had a frustrated conversation, sometimes in a tequila bar, but that's another story, where I've said, hey, this is silly, we can do better than this. And then somebody the next day has said, hey, thanks for volunteering. So I think the short version is, don't go to tequila bars. Be careful who you say, how hard can it be in front of? And never say you're never going to do it again, because that's the biggest lie you'll tell yourself.
Yeah. I don't know about those first two, but the third one really resonates. I don't know.
Well, I'm going to have to thank Tequila, because your books are wonderful and they're really easy to understand for those that are non-technical. And even those people like Nathan and myself that are technical, there's so many helpful tips in there that we help with our own clients.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, Laura, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Please tell our listeners how they can connect with you outside of our show.
Of course. So don't be strangers. The world is small, and I might be in New Zealand, but that doesn't mean that we can't be new internet friends. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Laura Bell Main. I got married. It's complicated. Or you can find my website, www.laurabellmain.com, and that will find links to all the things I do, newsletters, blogs, books, all those kind of things. So reach out, say hi. I'd love to get to know you and what you're up to in the world.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We look forward to having you on again.
Yep. Thank you. Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, that ends our Technology Insider with Laura Bell Main. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. Now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, which I will be doing and Mark will not. You're listening to TechTime Radio without Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
Join the fun and grab tickets to GeekFest West, the 3-day Geek Festival extravaganza of fun and entertainment that will take place on the third weekend in July. Learn more at geekfest.com. GeekFest will feature diverse activities, including a film festival, vendor hall, street fair, outdoor music festival, cosmic cosplay, and video game tournaments. Join us at GeekFest West, the ultimate celebration of geek culture. To learn more, visit geekfest.com. That is geekfest.com.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right. Well, welcome back to Tech Time without Nathan Mumm. We're now going to start our next segment by looking back in history at what happened this week in technology. I think we're going to start this week in technology. This week in technology.
The music played, Mike.
Oh, did it? Was that what that was?
Yeah,
Yes.
it plays automatically.
Well.
You want me to play it again? I can play it
So
again
what is
for
This
you.
Week in Technology,
I don't know.
Mike? I'm
wanna
dying
hear
to
it
know.
again,
Oh,
Mike?
heck. I wasn't listening to the music. I thought it was just intro music.
Here. Let's
play it again.
Let's
do it again.
This hour. in
Yes, make
technology.
me feel like I know what I'm doing up here.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
Yeah,
Deja
it'd
vu.
probably be really good for me to listen to the section music.
That's okay. You're working on the scotch, so.
I'm going to say I had a lot of scotch then. All right. Well, back at March 4th, 2000, Japan goes crazy for the PlayStation 2. Sony released the PlayStation 2, the follow-up to their wildly successful original PlayStation, in Japan to a waiting crowd of 10,000 people, many of whom had started waiting 4 days earlier. Sony promptly sold out of all 1 million PlayStation 2 launch units in a single weekend. Interestingly, because there were only 11 launch title games available, the fact that the PS2 could play DVDs at a significantly lower price than most standalone DVD players at the time drove much of the early demand. And that's it. That was This Week in Technology. Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history with over 180 weekly broadcasts spanning 4+ years of video, podcast, and blog information? You can visit techtimeradio.com to watch our older shows. We're going to take a commercial break, but when we return, we have Mark's Mumble Whiskey Review. We'll see you after the break.
Hello, my name is Arthur, and my life's work is connecting people with coffee. Story Coffee is a small batch specialty coffee company that uses technology to connect people to each product resource, which allows farmers to unlock their economic freedom. Try our Medium Roast Founder Series coffee, which is an exotic bourbon variety that is smooth, fresh, and elegant at storycoffee.com. That's STORI coffee.com. Today you can get your first bag free when you subscribe at storycoffee.com with code TechTime. That's STORI coffee.com.
The segment we've been waiting all week for. Mark's Whiskey Mumble.
Love that
Okay.
intro music, Odie.
All right, we're back on track now that I have some intro music. Thanks, Odie.
All right, March 5th.
Well, wait, I have to be this whole,
Oh.
hey, Mark, thanks for the mumble. Oh, no,
right.
No,
wait.
not yet.
Go ahead.
That's when
Go
we're
ahead and let us
done.
know. What's
All
your
right.
mumble?
Well, let's start before the mumble. Let's talk
Yeah.
about March 5th.
Don't you want to know what the day of the month
I don't
is
even
the
know.
year?
I don't even know what year it is sometimes. Come on now.
We're going to need you to actively participate in today.
Why? Because this is my liquor?
No. Today is National Potty Dance Day.
Just party time.
Are you serious?
It's party time. Just let it go. It's party time.
This is some Sesame Street stuff.
It's party
Elmo.
time. You can do it. I know.
Elmo and was it his dad or
Yeah, his dad.
Dr. Elmo and his dad.
Yeah.
Elmo has a dad?
Yeah.
See, I don't know these things.
Well, now you're getting part of the lore.
I'm getting some lore. Yeah. Okay. So the potty dance or the
potty
party
dance.
dance? I
No,
don't-
potty.
No, potty.
So it's all about the movements made when people need to use the bathroom. This dance is done voluntary or involuntary when a person's bladder is full. They move from side to side in an attempt to avoid using the bathroom. It is a funny dance, and it can be performed by anyone at any time. You don't have to need to go to the bathroom.
Why do they
to
call
do
it the potty? It should be the pee-pee dance.
But it's not
That's
just...
that's what we called it. That was the pee-pee dance.
Well, potty
Either
had a
one
song.
will work, Mike.
Okay,
Now, the
whatever,
dance is so
no.
popular, as Odie mentioned, that songs and videos have been created all over the internet for it.
Yeah.
So what we want to
I
see,
don't know. I like the squatty potty thing better.
we want to see Mike get up and dance the potty dance.
Yeah, Mike is not going to get up.
Come
and do the
on,
potty
all
dance.
it's simple.
I'll
Remember, it
play
says
for you.
back to back.
I-
Bruise those hips.
Mark, that's
It's
getting.
easy-
I'm
it's
getting a
easier
little
than
turned on, Mark.
All right. Well, we should move on to whiskey.
Yeah, let's move on to whiskey. So
All right.
I'm going to take a drink.
All right. For those on the radio, I did the potty dance since Mike wouldn't do it.
And Mike, yes, Mike doesn't dance. Well, Mike doesn't dance the potty dance.
Okay.
He does other dances.
So going from the potty dance, talking about something else, for me personally, that's potty, would be Scotch. The Kirkland Signature Scotch Whiskies, they are sourced by the independent bottler Alex Murray. With a name like Alex Murray, you would imagine like a historic Scottish bottler up in the Highlands of Scotland, wouldn't you, Mike?
Why not? I'll go with that.
Very Scottish name. But no, Alexander Murray is based in Calabasas, California.
Okay.
And we're all familiar with that city, aren't we?
No, I'm not. I'm not familiar with Calabasas.
Odie, why is Calabasas famous right now?
The Kardashians?
There you go.
Oh my God, I was guessing.
You knew it.
Okay, look at me.
All right.
Okay,
Being part of pop culture.
I completely condescend to that. I'm sorry. I can't stand those folks. That to me is well, never mind.
All right.
Give us a
Well,
program, Mike.
Yeah, I'm not going to get with the program.
You
I don't
know
need to
about
know.
it.
I don't need to know any
Hop
more
on
about the
the tickety talk.
Kardashians than that they exist and that they're.
The Instagram.
And now I know where they live and okay, whatever. Well, they're having trouble today because if they're Instagram goddesses and gods, they're in trouble because they've been out of service for like 6 hours.
Was that earlier today? 'Cause
Did
my
that
Facebook
happen?
was
Yeah,
working.
Facebook. When Facebook went down, so did Instagram, didn't it?
I mean, I'm on Instagram right now.
Well, I'm
So-
sure the service has been restored, but I'm sure everybody was freaking out earlier.
Anyway.
Anyway,
What's with
well-
the sky?
So that company was founded, Calabasas, in 2004 by a Scottish expatriate, Steve Lipp. So it wasn't even founded by Alexander Murray. That's just a made-up name. The company sources and bottles Scotch whiskey for different retailers, including Trader Joe's and Total Wines.
okay, all right. So we know where.
So
know-
if you need to find it, you know where to find this.
Is that all?
No, this is not a. Now, let's review it now. This is not a hit with online reviewers. Some comments that were made were saying it was very harsh, very astringent, and tasted like medicine. The winner for the most entertaining comment was that it tastes like hairspray. Have you ever had that, Odie?
Hairspray in my
Yeah.
mouth? Oh,
if
yeah.
you grew up in the 80s, you know what hairspray tastes like, okay?
You don't need to grow up in the 80s to do that, old timer.
Okay, well,
Do that now when you do your hair. Maybe
I-
because you don't have hair.
I
That's
don't
a
have to
different
worry
situation.
about it right, so
But-
Now, I can't judge Scotch
all
too
my
well
flowing locks are,
God.
because I don't drink Scotch. I don't drink anything that has high barley content, as everybody on the show that listens on a regular basis knows that something with the high barley content leaves a strange flavor in my mouth. So I will leave it in your hands, Mike, to hear what you have to say.
okay. Well, like I said, this was one of the first gifts I got after I was left homeless after a careless person burned down my apartment complex. And I do like Scotch, and this is not bad. But since being on the show and tasting all these bourbons and whatnot, it's a little thin for my taste, actually. So we'll talk more about that. Okay. Well, thanks, Mark, for the mumble, as always. Whiskey and technology, what a great pairing. Just like peanut butter M&Ms and peanut M&Ms.
No,
I don't know. He writes these things. I don't
Those are
know.
my two worst M&Ms out there in the world.
I don't know. I like, it goes together like copy and paste. That's something that, I
There you
think
go.
is
That's better because then at least nobody's allergic to copy. and
Yeah,
paste.
thanks, Nathan, for the M&M thing.
Well,
It didn't
you know
work
why
out.
he did it though.
Why? Because he's got the potty dance on his mind?
No, because Mike and Mark M&M were hosting the show today.
Oh, look at me. I am completely non-literal at all stages today. Okay.
Okay, what's up next, Mike?
I don't even know.
It's our
I don't
technology
even know
fail of
anymore.
the
Since we have Eminem on the show, Nathan thought this would be a funny thing to add. All right, let's get ready for a technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elite Executive Services, technology experts to help you out of a technology fail.
We are out of time. Congratulations. You're a failure.
Oh. I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right. So
All right,
here we are.
inform me.
Speaking about this week's technology fail, this week it comes from our buddies over at Meta, who I think right now is not suing anybody or being sued by anybody.
Womp womp.
Where's my womp womp? Okay, it's been some time since they have been in this segment. Well, Facebook and Instagram went down in what appears to be a massive outage of parent company's Meta's platform. People trying to log onto the websites and apps were finding error messages and were unable to refresh their feeds as normal. Tracking website down detector indicated hundreds of thousands of reported outages for Facebook and Instagram, affecting multiple countries and particularly the Kardashians in Calabasas, right?
Well, do you know that? Because did it affect you? Did you even know they were down?
No.
I didn't either.
And I'm surprised. What time was this outage at?
I don't know. I don't even use those. I I don't use social media.
Yeah, we
Never
get
mind.
it. You're a hermit. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm a hermit.
I didn't know. I don't do much Instagram, but I do
Well,
Facebook.
apparently it went on earlier this day, probably while you were sleeping.
Okay.
So, it didn't really affect you at all. Meta has acknowledged the issue and says it is working on this right now. We are aware of an issue impacting Facebook login. Our engineering teams are actively looking to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. Meta's platforms are some of the most popular in the world. Facebook has 3 billion active monthly users, while Instagram is expected to hit 1.4 billion worldwide later this year. Threads, its rival to Twitter, that was launched in 2023, has also seen some reported outages. WhatsApp, which Meta has recently acquired, appears to be unaffected. Meta spokesman said earlier today a technical issue caused people to have difficulty accessing some of our services. We resolved the issue as quickly as possible for everyone who was impacted, and we apologize for any inconvenience. The biggest outage of the company was seen in 2021 when founder Mark Zuckerberg apologized for the disruption caused. It seems we all need our Meta fix, just like a morning cup of coffee. All right. So
yeah. So as we've been talking,
I know that
Facebook
really
is on
affected
its,
you. Yeah.
It didn't affect me at all. Facebook's on its way down. If it had been TikTok, I think more of the world would have noticed.
If it had been TikTok, everybody would have known.
You know what you would have said if it would have been TikTok?
What?
Get a life?
There you go.
Maybe that might have been what I said.
So maybe that's only affecting old people, Facebook being down.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, Facebook is the old people.
No, but Instagram
which is funny. Which is really funny
crowd.
to say. I don't know.
We'll have to ask Greg McNabb if he noticed anything. We'll have to give him a call.
Okay, well, we're going to head out for our last commercial break. When we return, we will have my mesmerizing moment brought to us by Story Coffee. So sit back and raise a glass. You're listening to Tech Time Radio without Nathan Mumm. How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by Story Coffee. Visit storycoffee.com.
Yes, Odie, I heard the intro music this time.
I'm so glad that you did.
But you have to understand that I'm looking at a script that says there's going to be a piece that I say before the intro music. So, blah.
Oh, what? Well,
so how's this going to work, Mike? Usually Nathan asks you the question. Are you asking yourself a question and answering yourself? This seems a little psychotic.
I don't know.
No, I wouldn't say psychotic. He's asking within himself.
Yeah, so out of the ether, Nathan, who is not here right now, but I'm sure he's listening and shaking his head and wondering what's going on here in the studio. He has asked, does a global outage to Facebook or any social media content allow people to relax more, or does it cause anxiety?
Well, that's a good question.
Is it?
That's a really good question.
What do you think it does?
It depends. It depends on the person and their personality, I think, to some degree. But I think overall, the way society has been going, I think that causes more anxiety than not.
You would be correct. Okay, so this causes an incredible amount of anxiety, and I don't even need to cite any research on that because we're engaging in something that we do in normal routine. And if this is part of your normal routine, anything that disrupts our normal routine is going to cause some kind of anxiety. Now, the problem with this is we're dealing with something that's built to be addictive in nature. And as soon as I take away what you're addicted to, so if I take away neither of you are smokers, right?
No.
No.
Okay, so if you were smokers and I took your cigarettes and hid them, a lot of hilarity would ensue the more you tried to find those cigarettes, right? I don't know if you ever did that with your parents who smoked or whatever.
No. I didn't have that opportunity.
Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of what happens.
My parents didn't smoke.
Oh.
But here we've got these systems that have an addictive quality to them, and suddenly they are unavailable to us, and it enacts a fear response because we don't have that ability to engage in that activity like we would normally do. A lot of folks will use these platforms as escape mechanisms.
Right.
So they don't have their normal escape mechanism. They can't scroll. There's also a FOMO quality to this. You know what FOMO is?
Yes, fear of missing out.
Fear of missing out. Okay, so and it's really not fear. They are missing out because nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. So
now, does it have a different impact versus an outage which is unplanned versus something that is planned as an individual? Like sometimes I've gone on vacation where I knew I wouldn't have internet service or I've left my phone behind. And it takes me about a day to kind of not be looking for the phone and checking, but then I get into this more relaxed state.
Yeah, okay, so that's a good question.
Say that though, because I went out this last weekend. I completely forgot my phone, and my sister and I went out to Pike Place Market. I did not feel like at all anxious, but it was very frustrating that we had to rely on her for whatever else we had to look up in the area.
Okay, so you had sort of like a replacement in a surrogate phone, right? That you were using.
Because I would be like, oh, how long does it take to get to this place? Oh, I can't look it up. Okay.
Yeah, okay, so
I guess I'll struggle.
But that does create an emotional response, right?
True.
So you recreated. So the answer to your question here is that if you plan to do this, it's a lot easier to move away from that anxiety because you're already putting things in place to support that behavior. You're like, okay, I'm going to go camping on this date, and I'm not gonna have cell service. And in your mind, you're going, okay, so that means I'm not going to be looking at Facebook or Instagram or whatever. And as you get closer to that date, you're gonna feel little spikes of anxiety, I'm sure, which you may not even be aware of, but it may increase the amount of scrolling that you do prior to leaving for that camping trip.
I didn't think about that.
But when you go on that camping trip, you will be okay. You know, you're gonna have those needs. One of the basic tenets of addiction is that you have a withdrawal symptoms. And in the world of social media, the withdrawal symptoms is just randomly picking up your phone and hitting that scroll button and being like, okay, what the heck? What's going on here? So, yes, you can plan. And some people are not going to be affected by this as much. It depends on how much you depend on these systems. There are a lot of people that freak out because they depend on these systems to generate money for them. Like the Kardashians.
Or influencers just in general.
Influencers in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then you step down to the people who use it for news and things that they're used to getting on a daily basis. The short answer here is always going to be, it's going to create more anxiety than it does relaxation based on emergency outings.
Now I'm going to ask you a question. Do you think there could be a healthy way to go about social media? Like, what if I put a timer on it? Because now there's a thing where you can set a time that you're allowed to be on an application. Do you think that can improve it?
Yeah, I think that any time away from social media is a positive. Now, when I say I don't use social media, I get all kinds of notifications all the time from things that gives me a news story or something. Now, if I'm looking at it for a news story, I'll go in and I'll look at it quickly, but then I shut it off because if I start scrolling, that's the end. Because I always find something that, oh, well, what's this going on? What's that going on? And so that FOMO thing kicks in and I'm like, So, yeah, putting a timer on it is healthier than not doing it. But I have, and this may be just a result of my age, you know, I'm getting up there and I'm like, pretty much everything is BS.
Right.
You know, I'm like, well, you know.
Does that have to do with age or personality? Maybe that's another mesmerizing moment.
And maybe that may be another mesmerizing moment.
Yeah.
But
Because some people turn into sweet old people, and some turn into curmudgeon.
No, I'm practicing.
Grouchy old
I'm practicing
off my
to be
lawn.
that guy that yells at people to get off my lawn. Except I'm going to go to the city park and do it.
Yeah.
So no, I mean anything that you do that keeps it so it doesn't have a hold on you is of course healthier. So putting on it is, as long as when the timer goes off you can shut it off and move on with your day.
Right.
That's a good thing. But if it's infringing on things like, you're sitting there and you have to do your job, and you're sitting there and you're scrolling, that could be a problem.
So if I had nothing planned all day.
So if you had nothing planned all day and you were
on my phone all
scrolling,
day?
I don't. There's some debate about that, right?
Well,
wouldn't it be
asking you.
easier? Wouldn't it be easier? Wouldn't it be better or healthier for you to engage in some sort of exercise or walk outside or something around the house instead of just sitting there? The main issue with social media, it is designed to keep you moving that thumb up and down the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's designed to do. And the more you do it, the more you're going to get feedback from your system that this is a good thing and that
The nice little dopamine rush.
You get your dopamine rushes, you get some sense of voyeurism, you get a lot of stuff going on that can be like your brain tells you that this is a good thing. So
And the next thing you know, you're using ChatGPT in a cold, dark corner to be your romantic partner.
Aw.
You don't
even
are
have
you
to go that
revealing
far.
something about yourself?
That was another thing in the news recently
that people are using ChatGPT.
A lot of people are turning to ChatGPT for romantic partnership or romantic
Yes.
not partnerships, but romantic.
Have you seen that movie with Joaquin Phoenix?
Her?
Oh my God, I love that movie.
Yeah, that's exactly.
No.
I have not.
Okay, that's your homework for this weekend.
That's a good movie to check out. So, yeah, what you're talking about is para relationships, and there is a surge of this going on along with the rise of AI. That a lot of people are using this to develop romantic attachments to this thing because ChatGPT and other large language models are designed to ingratiate themselves to you by always giving you some sort of positive regard no matter what's going on. Which we've done stories about this.
Which is no different
over
if
and
you're
over
if you're in a negative space, if you're struggling with depression, a lot of times instead of reaching out for help, you're trying to find ways to cope, and that's why people turn to drugs or alcohol, and it's now ChatGPT seems to be another piece of that.
Yeah, these are all coping mechanisms that are not necessarily healthy. They're not necessarily healthy.
Speaking of unhealthy coping mechanisms, you want to go to our whiskey tasting?
Yeah,
Play the music.
Let's move on.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
Tell us about it, Mark.
All right, we are drinking today Kirkland's Signature Blended Scotch Whiskey. That's generally from Costco, but it's released by Alexander Murray. It's from Scotland. It's a blended Scotch, roughly 3 years old, 80 proof. And for this 1.75 liter bottle, which is hunkin', it is under $20.
Yeah, that's a big bottle of Scotch.
That's a big bottle of Scotch.
Can I just expect that you're just not going to give it a thumbs anything? It's just thumbs down for you?
Well, I hate to give it a thumb because I don't drink Scotch. I hate to say it's thumbs down because that's unfair to it. But try to taste it. To me, I taste the barley, and that's about all I taste. I don't get any smoke. I don't get any peat. I don't get any cedar smoke. None of that. None of those notes that tells it's a Scotch. To me, it almost tastes like an American single malt.
Okay, so thumbs up or thumbs down?
Well, I'd be thumbs down. I wouldn't drink it personally.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. It's not a bad taste. Like I said, it's a little thin, but it's because now I'm used to all these very full flavored whiskeys that Mark has been corrupting me with.
Corrupting?
Did you taste it, Odie?
I did not.
Smart woman.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Usually
Good
how I go
gift.
about a lot of things that Mike brings in.
Well, yeah, I do bring in a lot of joke stuff, but this one was a gift, and I appreciate the gift. So thank you for giving me this. It will be in my shelf. So
okay,
all right, that is it. We are about out of time. We want to thank our listeners for joining the program. Listeners, we want to hear from you. Just visit techtimeradio.com, click on Be a Caller, and ask us a question on technology or psychology and our TalkBack recording system. You can always stay connected by signing up for the newsletter to stay up to date on technology. From all of us to you, goodbye.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, mum's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.